Hare Krishna. Welcome to this program of Daily Gita. So today, let us see today's verse of Bhagavad Gita. First, let us pay our respectful obeisances unto Jagannath Baldev, Subhadramai, deities of ISKCON Sheshadripuram, Jagannath Baldev Subhadramai ki jai, Nitai Chaitanya ki jai, Parshuram Bhagwan ki jai, Vaman Dev ki jai, Panchatattva ki jai, Giri Govardhan ki jai. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we are in chapter number 2. This is also called as the contents of the Gita summarized. So today's verse is 2.62. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha Kamat krodho bhijayati. While contemplating on the object of the senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment lust develops, and from lust anger arises. So in this verse, if you pay attention to these Sanskrit words, dhyayato vishayan pumsaha means Vishaya means object of senses. Dhyayato means contemplating. What happens if you contemplate on objects, material objects? Sangasteshu upajayate. Sangha means attachment. Means attachment will come upon contemplating upon material objects. What is the next thing that happens? Sangat sanjayati kama. What happens to the attachment after the level of attachment? If I continue to contemplate, sanjayate kama, it turns into lusty desires. That means I will develop excessive desire on that object for enjoying that object. Then what happens? What is the next level of this? Kamat krodho bhi jayate. Means from the lust, anger will come. Right? So it's like a step-by-step Lord Krishna is explaining. This verse is like a very wonderful verse on to understand the psychology of the mind. The modern scientists, modern psychologists, they're trying to understand the psychology of the mind, but we have very clear idea about how the mind works given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his song, that is the Bhagavad Gita. Right? So this is a great science and very interesting. We'll try to understand this in detail. Okay. So different steps in which our mind gets disturbed. So tomorrow there will be another verse which is a continuation of this, which explains about the next stages. I mean, what happens after somebody gets angry and it gets worse. It's like this, right? A small child is there, and a small child wants to eat ice cream, right? The first step is like, the ice cream person, when he's going, there's a bell that he rings. There's a peculiar sound that we get to hear, right? When the ice cream van comes. The child will see that. Every day he sees that. The ice cream van is coming in. He sees it. Every day he sees that. And one day he sees his friends eating, etc., etc. And he says, no, I want to eat it now. I want to have it. Somehow he gets the ice cream, or somebody is stopping that child from having that ice cream. Say, no, you cannot have it. You have cold. Don't eat. Not good for you. Right? Then what happens? Kamat krodho vijayati. Child becomes very angry. He'll show tantrums, throw objects here and there, roll on the floor, right? So all these things happen. So it's not only for a child, but it is for everybody. It's for adults also. Thing is, we have got five senses, right? What are the five senses that we have? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin, right? And what are the corresponding sense objects for that, right? So for eyes, like, movies are there, right? Or some beautiful scenic uh, tourist places, for example, or the IPL cricket match, movies, right? These kind of things are like, the for objects for the eyes. And what is the objects for your for the ears? Yeah, this music, right? The Bollywood music, the filmy music, or for that matter, Hindustani classical also is no different. Whether it is classical or modern, music is material, unless it is for Krishna. So basically, it is for ears. It's very pleasing, isn't it? If we play and we feel like listening to the music for a long time, and after some time, if that music stops, we get irritated. So we see that people are always listening to FM, or they're listening to this Ghana.com. So many websites like are there these days, right? For listening to music for free, like that. So they're always listening while driving in the car, while crossing the road, while studying, every time, always, right? This is objects for ears, right? For the nose, it's like, all these deodorants, perfumes, right? So that is that. And for the skin, it is like, the AC and some very comfortable environment, right? Like putting switching on the AC also, for example, it's kind of an object for senses. I mean, because I feel very comfortable, very nice when there's a nice breeze that's coming, right? For the tongue, it is like, for example, going to a restaurant and eating food. So, or, like for those people who are consuming alcohol, soft drinks, or whatever drinks. So these are like the objects for the senses, right? So what is happening is like by repeatedly thinking about these objects, no, we feel that we must have it. Just like the advertising industry works on this concept. I mean, they know. I mean, they don't want people with self-control. If everybody starts reading Bhagavad Gita, okay, uh, a lot of industries will kind of be affected. This entertainment industry, gaming industry. I mean, who want to completely waste time of people, right? So they'll be very much affected, unfortunately. So that's what. So basically, indiscriminate usage of our senses, uh, wasting of time, right, into these things. Advertisements, like I said, they are repeatedly hammering and showing us some jingles with nice music, nice pictures, portraying it in such a beautiful way. And we hear about it again and again and again and again, the brand name, and we feel that I must have it, right? So the mobile phone advertisements, for example, or so many different kinds of advertisements, right? And the food products, for example, right? They put so much of, how do you say, enhancing flavors for making the food very tasty in the restaurants. They put so many chemicals, Ajinomoto, like that. And they put so many colors, flavors. And we don't like eating at home, but we like to eat at restaurants, right? So this is the kind of thing that happens. Dhyato Vishyan Pumsaha Sangasteshu Pajayate. Right? So much, in the malls also, when you go past in the mall, you can smell some kind of particular fragrance when you pass by one kind of a shop. When you go through a pizza shop, you can see maybe like 50 meters, or you can smell some very strong smell is there. So they're putting some kind of fragrance that kind of attracts people. And the lighting and interior decoration of shops. All this is to attract the senses, you see. So also the YouTube videos, like how you see, small children, they don't even eat food without YouTube, right? Because their minds are so vulnerable that they want to continuously be entertained. So this is the problem, right? That's like the contemplation of the senses first level is going to the next level of lust. Lust is a kind of The next level is quite dangerous, very dangerous. Huh? Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, third chapter, that lust is the real enemy of every living entity. And this lust must be curbed by regulating the senses. Right? It's like it is an insatiable enemy. It destroys the knowledge and self-realization. Right? So actually what happens is, like, what is the problem with this lust? I mean, what is wrong about having desires? Is that we get so engrossed in these desires, in satisfying these desires, that we accept so many commitments, and we design our life in such a way that we are in practically in a mess, and we don't have time for things that really matter. People don't have time for their family. They don't have time for Krishna consciousness. I mean, you don't have time for your own soul, but you have time for satisfying your senses, right? So what is more important, soul or the senses? Soul, right? Soul is eternal. So that's what it is. Like, what to talk about ordinary living entities, in this material world is such that, the whole environment is surcharged with sense enjoyment. I mean, that is the actual practical definition of material world, is like that. Spiritual world, there is only that, we want to satisfy the senses of Krishna. Whereas in the material world, I want to satisfy my senses. So a whole environment is filled with that. So even Lord Shiva and Brahma are subject to the influence of sense objects, it said. So in the purport, it said, Srila Prabhupada is saying that, one day Lord Shiva was in deep meditation, and Parvati agitated him for sense pleasure, and he agreed to the proposal, and as a result, Kartikeya was born. Right? So that's what it is. There's a story, right, where Sati Devi first suicides, and she gives up her body, basically, right? When Daksha Prajapati, her father, insults Lord Shiva. And later she's born as Parvati Devi. And then she's doing tapasya for thousands of years. Okay. And when the Cupid tries to agitate Lord Shiva, he opens his third eye and burns him away. And then then Parvati Devi herself takes the task, and she puts the arrows of Cupid with the bow of Cupid herself. And then Lord Shiva, then they both get married, right? And Kartikeya is born. So like that, there's one nice story actually of Haridas Thakur. The point is, like, if unless we are Krishna conscious, these things will agitate us. But as soon as we become Krishna conscious, and when we are established perfectly in Krishna consciousness, these kind of material desires stop affecting us, right? At least this will not have too much influence on us, right? Contemplation of senses, and turning to lust, and lust turning to anger. Like, how many times we get angry? Think next time when you get angry, why are you getting angry? The reason will be that you are attached to something. There is some desire for some kind of perfection, or something that you wanted that way. It's not happening that way. That's why you're getting angry, right? So Haridas Thakur was an associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he used to chant every day 22 hours, much 3 lakh names of Krishna every single day, right? And for his bodily maintenance, he used to beg from Brahmanas' houses. So there was one Jamindar who was very envious of him, Ramachandra Khan, because he used to see that, people used to come to Haridas Thakur, give him so much of respect, worship him, etc. So he employs a prostitute to discredit Haridas Thakur. So the prostitute takes up that challenge and goes to Haridas Thakur and offers that we enjoy. Then Haridas Thakur says, yeah, sure. Why don't you just wait? I have got a rule that I've made for myself, that I will chant these many rounds every day without fail. So he says, okay, please wait. And then he continues to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. And the prostitute is waiting, and the whole day and the whole night is gone. She comes back and he says, I'm sorry, you will come back again tomorrow if you want. And then she comes back again the next day. And he says, today I've not completed my rounds. I've just finished them. I'm not getting enough time for finishing the number that I've committed. Then he continues to chant and she's hearing. Second day is gone. Third day she comes and then third day also she's hearing. And then after that, there's a change of heart for her. Then suddenly she realizes that I'm doing such a big mistake. I'm trying to spoil the consciousness of such a great saintly devotee. And then she accepts her defeat. I mean, this prostitute was personification of Mayadev. Right? Haridas Thakur could win over his temptations, not by his own attempts, by artificially repressing the senses, but by Krishna consciousness. Therefore, the solution is, on a very basic level, try to avoid the sense objects. Out of sight is out of mind, right? If I'm keeping things in my fridge, naturally I will want to eat it one day, right? So why should I keep things which I don't want to engage in near me? That's one basic solution. But more effective or the proper exact solution is through Krishna consciousness. Now, by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and by engaging our senses more and more in Krishna consciousness. If you know that one of your senses is weak, gets too much attracted to the objects, you engage that sense in Krishna consciousness. Every sense can be employed in Krishna consciousness. For example, with our eyes, we can see the beautiful decoration of Radha and Krishna. With our ears, if we like music, we can hear nice music related to Krishna consciousness. You can hear the chanting of Srila Prabhupada. You can buy one chanting machine and you can play that. You can listen to it the whole day. And there's so many kirtan, so many music available on YouTube related to Krishna consciousness. Right? If you like eating food, then better offer it to the Lord and have it. Right? Of course, vegetarian food. Offer it to the Lord without onion, garlic, and like that. Offer it to the Lord. Put the tulsi and offer it to the Lord with your heart, and then that becomes prasadam. It's very wonderful, isn't it? So like that, we engage our senses, our activities in Krishna consciousness, and we get the perfect mind control. Now, what is the reason for this mind control? Why do we need mind control? Is basically, Krishna says that for those whose mind is unbridled, self-realization is a difficult work. But he whose mind is controlled and who strives by appropriate means is assured of success. That is my opinion. So Lord Krishna is saying here that, we cannot attain self-realization if we let our senses loose. So that's the point of this verse today. And thank you very much for joining. If you have any questions, you can ask now. Hare Krishna. Any questions or any comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Can I just say something? Prabhupada, he never recommended that we could sing, have bhajans on filmy songs, and like he always said, have Vaishnav songs. And Prabhu, like when we go to Vrindavan and all that, or even anywhere, when we hear bhajans on a filmy song, immediately our mind gets transferred there. Oh, that film actress, and especially if the songs from your era, like your senses, as it is, you find it so difficult to be in Krishna conscious. And immediately the mind and the senses, they connect to the song, they connect to the hero, they connect to the heroine. You try to remember who you are. The whole, your Krishna, your whole senses of enjoyment comes back, and it's again difficult to pick up and come into where you are in. So that is why Prabhupada very strongly recommended that not to hear filmy songs and to have bhajans on filmy songs. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Anybody wants to add any comments or realizations? You're welcome. Yeah. Especially be very careful with these filmy songs, definitely, like Madhuri was saying. I mean, the poets who write these lyrics and all, they completely spoil our mind's consciousness. Right? So that's what it is. And if you just analyze the lyrics of these songs, completely rubbish. Right?
Actually, Another point I will add over here, Srihari Prabhu.
Yes,
Madhusudana Hari told me when sometimes some songs comes on suddenly kind of on this one, what he does, he start connected to Krishna. Like he try to connect so our mind can connect to the Krishna. So if okay,
Saint we
that
just saint gives classes, absolutely. He also connects it to Krishna.
Yeah, like here is one. He's in also parampara that Hitamrish. Actually, he is a good speaker. He also sings songs, but only connecting Krishna. He says he always chant to Krishna. Actually, all words.
He says when any such thought comes, immediately connected to Krishna, so that your mind
is connected, waver to the senses. So we try. If okay, mind comes like then we try to connect with Krishna. So then our senses slightly control that way. Actually, to again surrender to Krishna. Actually, so that's we try to that way also. Can. Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you.